Welcome to Work Worth Doing. So, this is a side series of Defining Boundaries podcast. I'm Peta Cox. I'm the founder of Wise Network and the Edge Collective. Today, I'm joined by Josh Stone, whose experience and insight contribute to the kind of conversations that help us rethink how we work, how we lead, and how we support the people around us. This series is about pushing boundaries, asking better questions, and creating work that is genuinely worth doing. So let's get into it. Hi, Josh, and thank you for joining me.
Cool. Thank you, Peter. I'm excited for the convo today.
Nice. Okay, so I've got a few questions. And so where I probably want to start is a little bit about you.
Yep.
The reason I do have you on is because of a post that you shared on LinkedIn a couple of days ago. So we'll get into that as well. So give me a little brief background on how you got into engineering, the profession, where you are now.
Okay, let's do it. Toowoomba boy, grew up in the bush on a 40 acres farm, two brothers, that sort of thing.
Yep.
It was a decision between I loved art, and I loved numbers and that sort of stuff, and so it was actually a career choice between becoming an artist or an engineer. I had a career advisor tell me there was a lot more money in becoming an engineer. So that was that was the defining moment in terms of he just said, yeah, there's a lot more career opportunities in engineering.
Yep.
So I went to UQ, studied civil and commerce. When I graduated, I worked for a big corporate business, doing like site engineering and that sort of thing on land subdivision projects. I got the opportunity pretty early in my career when I moved businesses to become a director and shareholder of it was a 3 million business at that time. So I was one of four directors in that business. It was civil, structural, and enviro. Over the next 9 years, we grew that business to 30 million across engineering, town planning, surveying, and architecture. I sold my shares or my shareholding in that business, and then set up what is now Ignite Coaching, which is helping business owners, engineers, town planners, surveyors, and architects grow their consultancies. And I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. What were the main defining moments within that journey? And how did it lead to where you are now within your coaching?
Yeah. Um, so I loved the early days of being on site, of helping projects move forward. I loved working with like clients and contractors and, getting good outcomes on site. I've always been I guess, a good communicator. Like I can always see
Mm-hmm.
the client side of things in terms of what they were trying to get in terms of an outcome. I could see the local government's opinions and the contractor. So I enjoyed being that middle person and bringing everyone together to get the right outcome. Um, I really
Hang
enjoyed,
on a second.
yeah,
It kind of makes sense that you were into your art and you're an engineer and you're a people person. So I think you're a little bit like me, that I'm the arty side and the people person, and whereas most of the maths people are not people.
not people. Well, I'll get in terms of we had very defined roles at a board level
Mm-hmm.
as we grew our consultancy, and so I took on like the culture and HR function of that business. But we can talk about that as we kind of go. But yeah, I love bringing people together and getting good outcomes, and so yeah, I got the opportunity to be director and shareholder of a business. I was like early 20s at that point, so quite young.
That's
And
very young.
yeah, like it was one of those moments where the existing directors tapped me on the shoulder and just sort of said, "Hey, we think you'd be a great asset to this business as it grows.
Mm.
Do you want to buy in and become a director?" I was just like, "Yes, but I have no idea what I'm doing." Um, and it's like I got a business coach, and I had him as my business coach the entire way through that journey, just helping me
Right.
become a better version of myself, being a bit of a sounding board to how I up level my leadership skills, and those kinds of things. But we like defining moments is an interesting. Like we just had so many. Like we went through 8 or 9 mergers and acquisitions over that 9 year period from 3 million to 30 million. I mean, I still remember like us all signing on the dotted line to do our first merge. Like it was super exciting. Bringing like overnight, we went from a 3 million business to a 7 million business.
Mm.
And like I just really enjoyed that whole business building element the whole way through. I I really enjoyed taking on like the culture and HR elements. So we had different directors doing different things. Some were focused on like bigger picture strategy.
Yeah.
Some were focused on like the nuts and bolts of running the business. Like I was big picture strategy as well as people. Like to
Hmm.
me, when you can get when you can build a business with a culture that feels like family, but is you can still grow and scale it. Like that to me is a win in terms of how do you bring staff together, teams together, people together for common outcomes and grow a business. Like I love that element.
Yeah. Culture's a massive thing in a company,
Yeah,
isn't it? Getting that right mix and making your people feel like they're part of the team.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So let's go to that LinkedIn post.
Yeah.
The WTF is wrong with our industry.
Hmm.
Um, that hits a nerve in so many people. And for as long as I can remember, these conversations have been happening and are still happening. Yet this culture of, the race to the bottom and undercutting and all of that sort of stuff is still happening. So what led you to actually write that post?
Yeah. So I think like there's a number of things. I just kind of had enough in terms of, and I'll share the reasons behind. We work with. Oh, we have worked over the last sort of 3 or 4 years with, I don't know, 150 odd business owners in that
Hmm.
sort of engineering, town planning, surveying, architecture space, all small to medium size, so up to about 10 million in revenue. It is like honestly one of the main conversations that we're having with our clients. We've got a WhatsApp group for all our members, and it's like one of the big things they're always talking about around how do I navigate this? I've been asked to reduce my fees. I don't want to.
Hmm.
Um, and like my business coach at the moment now said to me, he's like, you'll change more lives with your marketing than your coaching ever will. In terms of like, start to share some of the things that are going on in your coaching clients' lives with the broader market, because like for me, it is about impacting lives. It is about like I love our industry.
Yeah.
I lived and breathed it, still live and breathe it. I know all the struggles and the pitfalls and all that sort of thing. I just felt like I needed to start to share more of like the real stuff that's happening in our industry, stand out a bit more, stop being safe and vanilla and all those sorts of things from a marketing point of view, and um, almost like just be a bit of a beacon for our industry around like, hey, enough's enough. Like we've got
Mm.
there's amazing people here running solo businesses through to staff of 40, 50, 60 who are losing margin, losing profit, um, losing the ability to reinvest that profit back into the business for the betterment of their team. Their directors are not paying themselves properly in their consultancies because the margins just aren't there. And I know it's not all because of clients asking, um, you know, uh, us to cut our fees, but it's like a really big part of it. It's like there's just
Yep.
this culture of it doesn't matter what you submit on a fee proposal or what you put on a page. There's just this unwritten law that like clients will come back and just go, can you be just a bit cheaper? Or can
Yeah.
you just shave a bit more off that price? Or it's between you and one other person. We'd love to give you the work, but you need to come down by 10%. Like it's just, anyway, enough's enough. And I'll be talking about it a lot more.
It's nice. It's nice to get that conversation out there. I think there's a lot of different things that are causing this, and some of the things that I've sort of seen have been people running businesses who don't understand the running costs of a business,
Mm-hmm.
and so therefore they're not charging enough to start off with. You said directors aren't paying themselves and all this sort of stuff, and their margins are small, or they work their employees to the bone 70, 80 hours a week and then kill them and then pull in the next person just because
Yeah.
they want to get all of that work. Gosh, I just had a whole heap in my head and they've gone. And it's just like there are so many different things. That race to the bottom, how. Oh no, that was the other thing before I get to the race to the bottom. Educating the community.
Yeah.
and everybody else. So there's so many different areas that sort of need to be focused on and spoken about. And I guess that comes back to us as the professionals running these businesses to actually educate.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's a big part of, like, when I sold my shareholding out of the consultancy that we grew, like, being totally honest with you, I just got to a point where um, I didn't enjoy like the technical side of engineering anymore. Like, no offense to all the technical people out there who love it. I just got to a point where I was like, I think now's my time to leave. Like, we'd built a business to 30 million.
Mm,
Like, we'd done a lot. Like, it was hard, it was fun, it was stressful, it was enjoyable, all those things. And I just got to a point where I was like, I'm definitely done. So I sold my shares in that business, or sold out of that, and then I just kind of looked around, and I'd always had this, um, yeah, I guess a desire to help the industry.
yeah.
And I had a coach, and I was like, what if I became a coach and helped business owners? And that's kind of where Ignite was formed. Was just this deep desire to help our profession, who are mums, dads, fathers, husbands, all that sorts of things, just run good businesses.
Mm,
And I'm sure we'll get to it, but like, they're great at what they do technically, and they started their business for a whole bunch of different reasons, whether it's financial freedom, whether it's time freedom, whether it's want to have the space to drop their kids off at the school bus and that sort of thing. But they just we do what we do to just help them build the business aspect,
yeah.
more profit, more fun, more freedom, those sorts of things.
Yeah. Do you think within the university, because I mean, we're talking, I mean, oh gosh, this is another, God, we could just go on for hours because my brain is just going in 50 million ways at the moment. But you talk about the profession, you talk about being, used to being respected like doctors and all this sort of stuff, letting the decline happen. We now have a lot of technical, so I'm talking surveying side here, a lot
Yep.
of technical surveyors who have come in and running their own businesses. But then we have the registered and licensed surveyors running businesses as well. So has the professional side of it been lost because of the technical side and working on construction sites? I know at university they don't learn a lot about business. They learn about ethics and stuff.
Yep.
So, there's just so much. My brain is just exploding
Yeah.
at the moment going, do we touch on this? Do we touch on that sort of thing? It's, how do we let this decline happen?
Yeah. I think. I mean, again, there's so much even to that particular question. Um, like, yeah, so I've been in the industry 25 years. I'm sure there's people that have been, and people who even commented on my WTF
Mm-hmm.
post are
Mm-hmm.
like, Josh, this has been going on for 40, 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
But like, ever since I can remember, even being a young engineer, it's always been just sharpen your price, be cheaper. Even you do the work, and clients would come back and go, I didn't ask you to do that, and I'm not paying you for that. Like, it's just this constant dance.
Yeah.
Um, and I, anyway, back when I was an engineer, I was on the CLMQ, which is like the Chair of Leadership and Management part of Engineers Australia. I was the
Mm-hmm.
president of that branch for a while, and we hosted a really interesting talk one night around this whole doctor thing around, and someone who's been in the industry a very long time just stood up and just said, "Yeah, I can remember when engineers and doctors were on par in terms of respect in the industry." And in his eloquent words, he's just like, "Well, the doctors kept going up. They held their own. They held their rates. They held their fees. But we as an industry have just started to let fear creep in, self
Yeah.
doubt, self worth, like the people pleasing parts of our personality, and we've just gone like that, and it's just we've allowed it, and it's just become the norm now."
Mm. How do we change it?
Well, I think like it's so within our ecosystem, we're doing so much work with our clients around like mindset, self worth, like, and again, even that's got a lot to it around like the value proposition in the marketplace. I think our industry, it the mistakes they business owners make is being generalists, like trying to be all things to all people. Oh yeah, I can work on land subdivisions, I can do industrial developments, I can work for local government, state government, because they're trying to capture, all of the pies.
Yep.
Whereas if you choose to niche and become a really respected person in one or two of those areas, you can charge more, there's more fees, clients respect you more because you're an actual specialist provider in those particular spaces. There's a self-worth piece around actually saying no to clients, and you can do that in very eloquent ways that don't wreck the relationship. But I think it's the reason for the enough's enough post and the WTF post is like we just need to start awareness first, like get people talking. And like last I checked, there was nearly 80 comments, 250 like 250 comment likes and that sort of stuff. So it's clearly hit a nerve.
Yep.
So I think awareness first, and then just giving people good practical tools to help build that sense of self-worth and their positioning in the marketplace as well.
Do you think that every business should have a coach of some sort, or do business courses or, that sort of thing?
I mean, I think you're going to have people that are naturally entrepreneurial. Like I look at a lot of a lot of people who either think about joining us or have joined us. There's a very broad spectrum of business owner there. There's someone who's like deeply technical, started their business because they love the work, they love their craft, and they've looked up in 3 years' time and they're like, I've got no idea how to run this business. I just need a bit of help. There are other people who are like deeply entrepreneurial and can probably learn and figure it out on their own by looking at YouTube and going to courses and that sort of stuff. But they just want to go faster too. So there's people who just want help with speed and just implementation and just tell me the next thing to do, so I can just keep moving quicker, versus I've just got no idea what I'm doing. Can you just help me? I mean, I'm biased. I've had a business coach my entire career. Obviously, we coach people, but I look at the results our members get from having people there to help them shortcut the process, and it's light and day. Sorry, night and day.
Yeah. So what are some of the challenges that you do see from the people that you are coaching?
I mean, there's heaps.
Is there some that really stand out from company to company that are really like you go, wow, this is the same in all of them? Or
yeah, I mean, there's the really big piece around, like, as a business owner looking to grow, there's a really big piece around like, this is my baby, I've built this from the ground up. There's a lot of things there around like, no one can do it as good as me, so they really struggle with like letting go of certain things in the business, trusting other people to do it as good as them, passing on client relationships. But I would say a lot of the times it's getting the business owner comfortable that they've decided to start a business, therefore it's time to step into the identity of a business owner. So yes, the technician element of them can still be there, but they really do need to learn the skills of a business owner in terms of cash flow reporting, forecasting, business development, client relationships, winning work, the EQ piece around like leading a team well. So like if I had to boil it down, I would really say like a lot of the work that we do with our clients is around helping them upgrade that identity piece and just going, okay, what's next? Where's the next phase of business going, and what version of you is required to get there? All right, let's work on elevating that version of you. So whether it's trust, whether it's delegation, everyone's got their different things they need help with.
Yeah. And so you focus on, your engineering, surveying, your planning, was it architecture?
Yep.
In those businesses. Do you find that they are quite similar in how they're running and dealing with those clients and that side of it, with the race to the bottom?
Oh, do you mean in terms of like how they approach clients asking to cut fees and that sort of thing? Yeah.
Is it the same? I mean, because I know, I know that, in the surveying side, when we're quoting for different jobs and stuff, and the main client only allows a really small percentage for surveying, when really we're there on the job from the beginning before it starts all the way through. and then finishing it off at the end. And so it really is a big piece of the pie
Yeah.
in what we do, and the clients don't understand that with that small percentage. Is it similar when it comes to that engineering or architecture or, that sort of thing?
Totally. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess, the reason we only work with those four, I guess, areas is just because that's what I know. I know that really well. We don't work with construction companies or anything like that, because I would be lying if I said I knew how to build a construction business. But yeah, like if you look at across all of those disciplines, if you look at the overall budget or the overall cost to a client to deliver X project, like the fees for that consulting team are so minuscule, it's not even funny. But yet there's always this pressure, because typically, I guess depending on the project, but typically the client is funding that project all the way through until they either get planned ceiling or they're able to sell and get revenue back into the business. So there's like all of this cost pressure on the consultant team the whole way through to get the project to a point where they can deliver it and have delivered it before then the client gets the money through the door. So yeah, it's super common across all those disciplines. And I think too, and I don't want to put all clients into this vendetta or this bag. Like, we work with some amazing clients. Like, in our journey, we had clients that were like, when you'd go to them with hey, we need a bit of extra money to pay for X, Y, and Z. We need to increase our fees because of A, B, C. They'd be like, no worries, like no stress at all. Like, just come and talk to us about that sort of thing, and if we can fit it into the budget, we would. So we had amazing clients, and I'm sure people listening to this and out there in the industry have experiences of amazing clients as well. But we also had terrible clients as well who just treated our team like crap. Everything was an argument. Every opportunity to screw us down on fees was there, and it's just like, it just really erodes the morale of you as a business owner, but also your team too, because you're like, there's no more money left in this project. We've got to deliver it. So it's super common. Like, just it's super common.
With that, when you talk about those good clients and bad clients, and I think that does come down to that relationship that you have, and how you can communicate your skills and things with the client, that they do understand that, which to me then comes back to how you're running your business and understanding that business side of it. I've had plenty of conversations when I was teaching with my students and stuff about doing project management, and how they would charge a project and do a quote and all of that sort of stuff, and what's involved and how much time and all of this sort of stuff, and then sort of going, okay, so what would you charge out at, sort of thing, or why would you choose that amount, or why would you choose that time, and having the conversations. And these are young graduates or people that have been working in for a while, and they're sort of stepping up into those more leadership positions. And a lot of them don't understand that whole side of understanding the project that they're working on, to be able to communicate that to their clients, and understand their worth and what a business is needed to run and make some money, and pay all of your bills and have a little bit aside, sort of thing. But how you communicate that with the client as well, and out of that conversation, to me it's sort of like, okay, so you now have that understanding of what your business is going through. And I've had conversations with business owners and stuff as well. Raise your prices. You've got your good clients that understand. Wouldn't you rather just have a couple of good clients that you communicate well with, that pay for your services because you do it the right way, they get the outcomes that they need, time, blah, 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 and get rid of the bad ones that are causing you grief, that you're having to do more and more for? And some of them don't. They just sort of say, oh, no, but we can't do that. We need that money. And it's like, I think it's time to step back and sort of think about what's involved in your company and what you want out of it.
Yeah. And choosing the right clients too for team morale as well. Like, if you've got your team working on projects with awful clients, like either very soon you'll have burnt out team members or team members that'll just leave and go, you know what, I'm just kind of done.
Yeah.
We had we've got two amazing clients. We've got a training in our program called like the client upgrade, which is all about just like 20 questions. You kind of just basically grade each of your clients, and it spits out a B, C, D, or E. um, and one of our clients did this training. They're like, we just analyzed 100 and last 4 years worth of data. We analyzed 100 and we had 130 clients that did varying project sizes with us over the last 4 years.
Yep.
They're like, what did you say? It was 27% of the 140 clients or 130 clients were A or B grade. The rest were C, D, or E. And
Wow.
he's like, but he said the interesting thing was once they graded those clients and worked out that 27% of their client base were A or B grade, he's then like, we looked at the revenue that those clients generated, and 27% of our client base generated 5% of our actual revenue for the last 4 years. So he's like, why are we doing all this work with the other 70-ish% of our client base that only contributed 20%? He's like,
Yep.
so from that discussion and just analyzing their client base, they've basically completely changed their client focus strategy to be like, you know what, that 27%, we're going to love you. We're going to give you so much of our time and attention. It allows us to then, when what clients are screaming at us for their deliverables, we can go, okay, who's an A or B grade? We're going to give more time and attention. And he's like, we've just slowly over time phased out that 70-odd% worth of clients. And he said, now when we tender on something or bring new clients into our world, we always grade them as well and just go, are you an A or B? If you are, cool, we're going to work with you. If you're not,
Yep.
catch you later. You can go and work with our competitor down the street. But he said it's putting numbers and logic to something that's a bit emotional, because he's like, some of our E grade clients have been with us since we started the business, and like, how do you fire an E, like someone who's been with you forever? And I'm like, but do you want to keep working with them? He's like, absolutely not. They're awful. So I think there's like things you can do to critically assess your client base, work out who you're going to focus on moving forward. And like, their revenue hasn't dropped at all. Like, they've just slowly phased out the terrible ones. They've focused on the better ones. Their margins have gone up. Their fun factor's gone up too in the business. Like, it's just, there's things you can do.
Just change the whole morale.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned the burnout and the leaving and stuff like that. Do you get a lot of your clients coming in sort of saying, my team's burning out or I'm burning out because of this sort of stuff? Do you give them the tools and stuff to manage that?
I would say maybe a quarter of people who come and work with us are just like, you know what, I'm done. Like, as in, sorry, I'm not done, but I'm just like, I need help, because if I don't, either it's marriage breakdown, divorce, or you know what, I'm not looking after myself. So yeah, like, we do have people that come to us and like, I need you to help me take the overwhelm out of building this business, because it can be super hard. And that it just doesn't, and this is like the whole undercutting, sorry, not undercutting, but clients asking you to drop your fees and that sort of stuff. This isn't like, one momentous thing that happens. It's like you just slowly over time making bad decisions, saying yes to clients that ask you to drop your fees, or choosing to work more because clients want, they're demanding more from you, and not taking a lunch break, or not going to the gym, or not getting it home on time for the family around the dinner table. These are all just like little decisions that we make every day that slowly over time have eroded the industry, but also people's businesses as well. There's these small decisions.
So how do they set those boundaries? Whether it comes to, your fees or your time frames, or, what you're giving to these companies and clients?
Yeah, it's a gradual process the other way. Like, if you turn around to your whole client base who you've just trained for the last however long you've been in business, to expect that when they call, you pick up. When they
Mm-hmm.
say jump, you say how high. When they say we need you to drop your fees by 10%, you go, no worries, it's 15% and thank you for the work.
Mm-hmm.
You've slowly conditioned your client base to expect that from you. So then, yeah, you can't just one day go, you know what, I'm a different person. It's about the example I gave before is just slowly over time going, you know what, it's actually a no from us.
Yeah.
And we're okay if you choose to go somewhere else. We really stand by the work that we do, the value that we add. We know on the last project that we saved you 200,000 in our bulk earthworks design or whatever. If you know, if our decision is to not drop our rates and your decision is to move on, we're kind of okay with that. And a lot of the times it just doesn't go that way. Most of the times the clients are just trying it on in terms of like, I'll just see if I can get a discount.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the times they're actually really happy with you because you're a good person and good at what you do. And they're like, okay, no worries. Well, let's just leave the fees the way they are. But it's just like these little micro shifts around setting better boundaries, saying no in a nice way. And these are the reasons why. Leaving the office at 4:30 or 5, going to the gym at lunch, like all these things that just add up over time to help you then build the business and the life that you want as opposed to the other way around.
So, as a coach for businesses,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to these companies that you know have said and commented on your posts and stuff? Oh, it's been happening forever and it's never going to change.
Yeah, that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Um, uh, because I guess I've got the benefit of seeing inside, like, yeah, like I said before, we've worked with to date maybe 150 businesses of varying sizes. I've seen what they can do when they start to connect to their self-worth, when they stand on their own 2 feet and go, you know what, the price is the price. And if you don't like it, go elsewhere. Like we've got clients that are doing 40, 50% net margins, which is amazing for our industry.
Mm-hmm.
They're, you know, we have this little wins channel in our WhatsApp group, and like I just took 4 weeks off, and the business didn't fall apart. We just had our biggest revenue month. We just had our biggest profit month. So I guess I'm sad for the state of the industry, but I also know that it's definitely possible to run a different business, because like we see it all the time. So I guess then I look at all the people who are commenting going, it's never going to change, and going, okay, well then that's my mission to um, bring more awareness around this, and then just help as many people as possible to build better businesses, because it's totally possible.
Yeah. And so using mainly LinkedIn as the platform and just giving them those little tips or keeping those conversations going,
Totally.
how are you gonna how are you gonna do that?
Um, I'm still figuring that out. So yes, LinkedIn's obviously very powerful.
Mm,
We run monthly workshops, so people can come and just learn little snapshots on. Like next week, we're running a workshop on, you know, your next year's strategy. We've run sessions on
yep.
how to write fee proposals. We run like we will there'll always be little things that we do to um, educate people. We're about to hire a proper videographer, so that's going to like really change the YouTube channel, all those sorts of things. So I just want to get a lot more educational stuff out there, like little things. Like our podcast is amazing. We get lots of people saying thank you so much. I binged listened to your podcast on the way from home to site, and there's just little snippets there that they can kind of take away and learn. So yeah, there's lots of
Well,
things I
put
want
it
to do.
out there. What was the podcast? You can say it on here.
It's literally called the Ignite Podcast.
There you go.
um, yeah,
There's many people that have not heard of you or, you know, seen the stuff that we're talking about. So,
yeah,
you know, get it out there and, you know, we're here to try and educate people and support people. So,
yeah. I think
um,
there's definitely like the educational piece around, like I've got all these nerdy things on the podcast about like how to go from 0 to 3 million, how to go from 3 to 5, like how to hire how to hire a GM. But I think too, like the mindset piece is really important, like just that self-belief that um, again, others have done it, therefore I can do it too. So
yeah.
um, letting other people know that like it is possible to change and do things differently.
Hmm.
You know, it's the whole whatever it is, the 4 minute mile. Like no one thought it was possible to do a 4 minute mile, and someone did it, and then next week four other people did it. Like it's just like breaking those belief pieces slowly.
Yeah. I remember reading something on LinkedIn from a surveyor who has his own business and never really put anything on there. And I don't know if he had a conversation with someone or he just realized that things are working for him and his company, doing it the right way. And sort of put up a post and went, this is so hard for me because I to put myself out there on this platform and be vocal, and that's not me, and all this kind of stuff. And you just notice that these people are starting to do that a little bit more.
Yep.
Because they do realize that if you don't speak about it, nothing's going to happen, and people can't see the benefits of these little things that you're doing. And I'm pretty sure he said he went on a holiday and came back, and the business was still running smoothly. It didn't need him there, sort of thing. And I think that's one of the big things, is to be able to step back, let go, make sure you've got the right people in the right spots of your company.
For sure.
So it's not just you doing everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the trust and letting go piece around hiring good people. Hiring people who are better than you as well. Like I think a lot of times business owners get threatened by like someone who walks in the door who's better at them at engineering or surveying, and it's like that's actually great. Hire that person so they can be better at you than in like that design, so that you can go and run your business and know that someone better than you is currently looking after all your client work. So there's definitely that trust and letting go piece, but you're never going to build a business that, well, it depends on your outcomes, but you're never going to build a business that gives you like life and time freedom if you don't hire and build a team around you.
What do you think about this? So this is something that I believe in so much, is bringing in from the ground up and training from the ground up and supporting and nurturing. We have a massive shortage in surveying. And people go, we need this surveyor, we need that, we need a registered surveyor, we need this, we need that. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. You just expect to pull someone in, or you're going to take them off somebody else. Why don't you start bringing in from the ground up and have the right culture in your company and nurture these people and give them your knowledge and stuff like that.
Massive.
It's something that I've been trying to talk about for a while, and one day I know that I had a surveyor, an old surveyor, who said, well, I've put through 3 different graduates, through their university, and as soon as they got registered, they left.
Yep.
And I kind of went, what do you think that says?
Yeah.
I left it at that, but it's like, okay, that's really good of you to do that, but if they're leaving, there's got to be a reason why.
Yeah, I mean, there's heaps to that. Like, we had that recruitment strategy the whole way through growing our business. Like, we had a really great relationship with the head of engineering head of engineering at UQ, and also the head of like design drafting at South Bank TAFE there in Brizzy. Every year we just used to meet with the heads of both and just say, who are your brightest students? We'd love to meet them. We'd put them all on work experience, and some of the people that were hired coming straight out of uni or TAFE became some of our best employees, just because they got the tattoo from day one, and they just learned our culture. But the piece around leaving, like, I find that so interesting, because like it's not surveying. Like a lot of people say that, oh, what's the point in investing? Then they're just going to leave. And it's like, people only leave when they lose sight of their vision within your business. So if you're constantly painting a big enough vision for your team in terms of like where you want to take your career, what you want to do in terms of your role, people very rarely leave businesses where they know that their next 2 years are mapped out, their 5 year goal is in sight, and their 5 year goal is within that um, business's ambitions.
Yeah.
Like unless they're being significantly underpaid, um, like they'll never leave a business. Like why would
Yeah.
you? If you knew that your future was within the organization you're currently in, it was constantly being communicated to you. Can't wait for you to get your certification so we can pay you more. Can't wait for this, like all that sort of stuff. People don't leave those companies.
Mm. I do think that they need experience in different places, but I also do believe that if you nurture them, you're going to end up with the right people.
Yeah.
And not everybody, and this is something that I used to say to my students, is that um, your idea of a good company might not be the idea of another person's good company.
Correct.
And so you've got to find that place where you fit with, the work ethic, the culture, how they run things, the clients that they work for. So all of this makes your workplace what you want it to be. So, you might not find that the first time that you get a job. It might take a few goes, but at least you're still learning and working out where you need to be. You don't need to stay in one job because it pays. Some people do chase the money. They don't care. They're hard workers and they chase the money. We can't do anything about them. It's about the people wanting a proper career within what we do.
Yeah.
And trying to instill that into companies is difficult sometimes as well.
I think too, like people have a bad experience once and then just assume that's how it's always going to play out. And I think sometimes it's having a flexible enough approach to life and thinking and mindset to go, okay, well, that sucked. Like I paid for that person's uni degree and I trained them up and then they left. Like, what was my part to play in that? What am I going to learn and take from that? And how can I do it differently next time? As opposed to just blanket saying, anytime I hire someone from uni and pay for their degree, they're just going to leave. Like that's the difference between fixed mindset and growth mindset. So
yeah. In those conversations that I did have one day with a surveyor, he turned around and he said, if they leave, they leave. If they got the experience, I'm happy because it's supporting the industry as a whole.
Yeah, I love that.
What a great way to think
Growth
about
mindset.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So with, I mean, I don't know much about the engineering architecture side of how it all is. I know that it really is a struggle for a lot of surveyors and surveying companies and stuff like that. What are some of the things that, I know you're putting stuff out. Is there things that I can share into my area and groups and things like that can help the individuals think about how they can reclaim their strengths or their position in industry or look at themselves in a more professional manner or things like that?
Do you mean stuff that we produce or we have produced? Or?
No, what you've produced or certain things that we can put out into the community, to help, give them that spark or get that thought process going. I mean, like your WTF post, I put a lot of those sorts of things out as well, but, I always want to give value.
Yeah.
And something that somebody's going to learn something from or go, oh, wow, that's pretty interesting. I'm going to go and research that a bit more or speak to someone or, oh, Peta's just spoken to Josh or she shared this post or whatever. I'm going to go and see what Josh actually does.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like we're always analyzing everything in terms of like what's the common or hot topics. I mean, if people in your world have certain things they'd love to learn more about, or are interested in, happy to create more content and teachings around that sort of stuff. Like, our podcast would have heaps of information on that sort of stuff too. But I think, like, direct feedback in terms of like, obviously, we're talking about cutting fees and the race to the bottom, all that sort of stuff. Like, what are the other pain points and things that people are stuck with and stuck on, so we can have more conversations around it.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is just keep keep pushing and putting those questions out there so that people
Like,
really start to talk about it.
yeah, I mean, we've got heaps of data. Like we obviously record every one of our internal training calls.
Hmm.
It was really interesting. We put all of our, we do like we coach our clients twice a week. Tuesdays is always like a new learning topic, like something new that we're teaching our clients. Thursdays is always like we call it a momentum or Q&A call, where it's literally you just
Hmm.
turn up and some people eat their lunch and listen in. Some people are asking questions, but it's just like topical. What's top of mind for you? What do you want to unpack in the business? We took the last 12 months worth of calls, popped
Yep.
it in a good old chat GPT and just said, like, what are the common themes? Like, what are people most talking about? It's it's hiring, so finding right
Hmm.
staff. Interestingly, it was actually linked into like how do we be more um, how do we be more out there on LinkedIn? Like, I think a lot of people in this industry are afraid of standing out, afraid of
Yeah.
having an opinion. We ran a training literally last month for our clients, literally called How to Stand Out, Grow Your Business and Build Your Brand. So, like, how to just be a bit more out there and opinionated. Um, it was leadership, it was fees,
Hmm.
and having tough conversations with clients was sort of like the top five from that analysis.
Yeah. And that's over the four different
Yeah,
areas.
four
Yeah.
different areas. Last 12 months worth of just open Q&A with our client base.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is, yeah, put it out there on LinkedIn, start those conversations.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're getting close to sort of finishing. I don't want to take this on for too long because usually my talks go for hours. I don't want to do that for you.
Okay.
I don't want to do that for the listeners. I think we've got some good points through here. I think
Yeah,
there's
for
some
sure.
things that they can take away from. One of the biggest things for me, and because I have sort of been there in my career in that burnout and overwhelming and tired and all of that sort of stuff. Something from you for anyone who may be feeling that way if they're running a business or if they're an employee, feeling tired, overwhelmed, undervalued right now. What would be something that you could give them as a takeaway, as a practical step that they could sort of think about to make that step for change?
100%. Two things.
Yep, great.
I put this on a post yesterday, I think, which is like fit your own oxygen mask first. Like you hear it on planes all the time, but it's actually like
Mm-hmm.
where I just think our industry or industries, we're all beautiful, like beautiful people. They want to give, do the right thing by the team, the clients, um, tend to put themselves last in terms of like the mental health piece, the fitness
Yeah.
piece. Like I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people that are like, I've just let myself kind of go. I want to get back into a bit more fitness and looking after myself. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
well, instead of like leaving that to the end of the day, like prioritize that stuff first. So fit your own oxygen mask first, look after yourself, go to the beach, go for a swim, go for a walk, go to the gym, like look after yourself and do the things that are important to you. People think that's selfish, but it's actually like the better shape you are in physically, mentally,
Yeah.
um, spiritually, all those sorts of things, the better you are to deal with hard stuff, the better you are as a person to be present for your team and your family and your kids. So fit your own oxygen mask first and go for that run or go to the gym. Um, the other thing too is like reconnect to your why. Like, I mean, the old Simon Sinek.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I find like we work with business owners all the time, and I think a lot of times they've forgotten why they started the business. They've
Mm-hmm.
forgotten who they're doing it all for. They've forgotten all the reasons why they left the corporate role and started their own thing. Like it always boils down to like more money, more freedom, and more flexibility. Like they're like the main areas. And then when you get people to connect to their why in terms of like who are you doing this for? Are you doing it for you? Are you doing it for your kids? Are you doing it for your wife, your husband, your spouse? When you reconnect to your why around like why are you doing this, it just gives you a renewed sense of energy. Like I always say to our clients, like if their clients asking them to cut their fees, I'm like, okay, well, if you dropping your fees 10% is the difference between you being able to buy that bike for your kid's 10th birthday or take them on that holiday versus giving a bit of a discount to your client, like, what are you going to choose? And they're like, oh, absolutely, I'm going to go say no to the client because like starting this business and providing for my family is my why. And it's like, great, well, connect to that and use that to fuel you when you're tired, burnt out, overwhelmed. Because reconnecting to that gives you that renewed sense of purpose. So
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for your time today.
don't worry, it's fun.
I think we've had a good chat.
Yeah,
I hope people have got, something out of it. It makes them think a little bit. If you're not following Josh on LinkedIn, please go and find him and follow him. He has some great things on there. He's got his podcast as well. Reach out if you've got questions. Put your things on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Start talking about things. Start those conversations is what I consider say. And yep, look after yourself. So thanks, Josh. I really do appreciate it today, being my, should I say, guinea pig in this type of conversation. Cool. No worries. So thank you for joining me for this episode of Work Worth Doing, part of the Defining Boundaries podcast. These conversations are here to help us look at our work with honesty, purpose, and the courage to lead from the edge. So if today's discussion offered a new perspective or a new reflection, I invite you to please share this episode with someone who you think may benefit from it. As I said, put things out on LinkedIn, talk about this sort of stuff. If we don't talk about it, things aren't going to change. So it truly matters within our profession. The closer we move towards meaningful change. So let's starting those conversations. To learn more about coaching, leadership development, we've got Josh, who has a really great business happening. I also do a little bit of the coaching, the leadership, internal training for companies, skills gaps, things like that. So you can contact me, go to my website. I'm still changing it, but petercox.com, pretty easy to find. Follow me on LinkedIn, follow Josh on LinkedIn, please. You will learn a lot. Until next time, take care of yourself, support the people around you, and keep creating work worth doing.